Hello and welcome to the PvA Nightly Rundown for Monday, October 7th, 2019. This is episode 58. I am your host, Luke Croft. And guys, new week. Very excited. Hold on, just got an update from Twitch here. Update incoming. Be one of the first to try the completely redesigned creator dashboard. I'm not dumb enough to click check it out now while I'm streaming. Am I? Yeah, I'm not that dumb. We're not going to do that. Guys, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you had a good Monday. My weekend was pretty solid, actually, you know? We did not have Friday off, but I did go to a wedding on Saturday. It was cool. It was a girl that used to be the weekend manager at the business that I ran, and she decided to invite me and my wife to her wedding. So we went and we hung out. We got to see a bunch of the other employees that we had. It was cool because they were bridesmaids in her wedding. And so it was just kind of cool to see like this thing that I had built with, you know, two friends of mine, create some long lasting relationships. And then it had like a sitcom finale feel because I'm standing there talking to them afterwards, and one of them was like, I'm moving to Boston, I'm moving to Maryland, you know. And then this other couple got married, and so, you know, it was cool just seeing people grow. And yeah, I was pretty proud of what we had created, and not saying that, you know, obviously not saying it had everything to do with their friendship, but, you know, they didn't know each other before they came to work for us. So it was cool to put people together who were compatible enough to become as close to friends as they were. So that was really cool. My wife and I stayed out till like 10 o'clock, guys. 10 o'clock. I don't get it. I'm almost 30. I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, fuck, I don't want to stay out this late. Just want to come home, do the PvA Nightly Rundown, give the people what they want, you know? Also, Friday, went to go get a haircut. So I'm doing my hair up Saturday, and as you guys know, like when I do my hair, I like spike it up all crazy. And I realized that, oh shit, my hair looks terrible. Like, why does it look so bad? It was like lopsided. And then yesterday, I'm driving around. Lauren and I went to the grocery store. I take my hat off. Look at the hack job that this lady did. Like, first of all, she cut my hair in like 5 minutes. All right, I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. So I get my hair cut at Walmart, and it is a concession on my part, but it's convenient, it's there. But I have to say 80% of the time my haircuts are shit. And anytime I try to figure out who is cutting hair, when I call back, like if I get a good haircut, you know, I'll always like take the lady's card, and then the next time I need a haircut, I'll call and say, hey, is so and so? Oh, they don't work here anymore. And it's like, well, they can't tell me where they work, and I only have their first name, so I'm kind of fucked, you know. Bill Ferrell says no shame in the Walmart cut. But see, I was spoiled. So the place where I ran my business was in a city called Roanoke, and right down the street was this barber shop that was designed like just for dudes. So it was a lot of leather, smelled awesome in there. And I would go, it was like a 45-minute session, you know, get my hair cut, got it shampooed, like, you know, it was really like chill, relaxing, head massage. It was nice, but that's like an hour and 15 minutes away. And I just can't justify driving an hour and 15 minutes to go get a haircut, except for the fact that every single fucking time I get a bad haircut, I'm like, I just need to bite the bullet. I work from home. Like, I'll just leave at lunch one day, go get my haircut there in the afternoon, and come home in the evening or something like that. Or like leave early in the morning, come back during lunch. Like, it was just, it's bad. Look at this. I mean, it's totally crooked. Totally crooked. So it's hats and waiting for it to grow back out. My wife said she was going to try to help me out, but I don't think she trusts herself. I trust her to do it, but yeah, I just need to get her to fix it up, because when I did it up, I'm not kidding. Like, I did it and it just had like, it looked like a bowl. It looked like you could have poured cereal in my hair. It was terrible. But yeah, so today was good. Went for a little run after work. It was really nice. I'm getting back into running. My wife is getting into running as well, which is cool. We're focusing on getting healthy, getting the junk out of our house, you know, starting to feel good. Like, it's crazy. You start eating a little bit better, just even a couple days, and you automatically start feeling like a hell of a lot better. And to the point where you're like, why don't I just do this all the time? And then you're like, oh fuck, donuts are really good. Donuts taste awesome. Anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend as well. Little bit of housekeeping here at the top. This is the PvA Nightly Rundown. We do this each and every weeknight, except for Wednesdays over here on twitch.tv/PvA Radio at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I run you through all of the gaming news that you may have missed throughout the day so that you don't look like a fucking idiot at the water cooler tomorrow. So that you don't walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, the Switch isn't going to have an officially licensed Mario Kart racing wheel. And somebody at the water cooler scoffs at you and says, Mr. Smith needs to see you in his office at 3 o'clock. Don't forget to bring your key. You get fired for being a fucking dumbass, because Mr. Smith's like, there is a Mario Kart racing wheel here. You should have listened to the PvA Nightly Rundown to know that was happening. Since you came to work unprepared, you're out of here. Don't do it. Also, my boy, Larry Hunt, coming this weekend. Helping me clear a bunch of shit out of my basement. Got to take some trips to the dump. Got to pay per pound for what we're going to be throwing away. And I'm pretty excited because that means I'm moving this whole setup. So like right now, this space is the space where I both work and play. And so I spend a lot of time in this room. And it forces me to like lose a lot of my motivation when I'm at work, and I really don't want to be in here, honestly, to play. Like I haven't played a whole lot of my PC just because I don't want to be in here. So like, because I tried dividing my room up, and my desk is a mess over there. So apologies for that. But I've got like my workspace over there, and then my play space over here. It just doesn't work. So I'm turning this into my work office, moving my stream shit downstairs, the computer downstairs. But that means something brilliant is going to be coming back, and that is the green screen. So I took the green screen out because, again, I work from the same room that I stream from, and I video conferenced a lot of times with clients and stuff, and I didn't like having to explain the green screen behind me. I was a little ashamed. So instead, I took it down. I hung up these cool shelves. I still have my nerdy shit, still being myself back here, but I needed to button it up, be a little more profesh, as the kids say. So, but when we move the setup downstairs, the green screen's going back up. We're going to be doing a lot of cool things with the podcast down, with the show down there, with the stream down there. So, be on the lookout for that. Also, I'm figuring out small ways to get people involved in the show because, PvA Radio is very structured. That's the show we do on Wednesdays, but the Nightly Rundown is all about like, my goal for the show is for people to come in, talk about the gaming news that I'm covering, give their thoughts, weigh in, make this an interactive show. And so what we're going to do, if you go follow me on Twitter at PvA Radio, that's the PvA Radio account. That's not me. I'm going to be tweeting out a poll every evening before the show so that people can decide on what the lead story is going to be. So, you can go over there. It'll say, what should the lead story of the PvA Nightly Rundown be tonight? You'll get the option. So tonight, the Apex Legends Halloween event is got voted as what should be the lead story. So that's what we're going to kick off with. But yeah, just another cool way for people to interact with the show. And we'll start rolling some more of those things out as we move forward as well. Some stuff happening on stream. Twitch is actually adding some cool interactivity functions to their client itself. So I want to figure out what those are and take advantage of those as well. All right, guys. That does it for all the housekeeping. Let's get into it. Let's get the night started like we get every night started with the games that are releasing today. As always, we take this from Zach Zweisen over at Kotaku. From his The Week in Games Rundown. Today is, again, Monday, October 7th. And releasing today, we have Junior League Sports on Switch, Crazy Mini Golf Arcade on Switch, Legendary Gun on PC, Infectus on PC, The Void of Desires on PC, Spirit Abyss on PC, Hexatrains on PC, A Nightmare's Trip on PC, Space Robinson Hardcore Roguelike Action on PC. And those are all of your games that are releasing today, Monday, October 7th. Not as big a week this week as we've been having. A little lull. I think people know Call of Duty's right around the corner. We had the release of Ghost Recon Breakpoint at the end of last week. So, I think this is one of those little gap weeks between big releases. So, but holy shit, I just saw the list for Thursday. Thursday's got 1.5 million games coming out on it. So, be prepared for that. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Let's get started with our news. And again, as voted by the people who follow over at twitter.com/PvA Radio, we're going to kick off with the first item on the list. Apex Legends' new Fight or Fright event has been detailed. We're taking this straight from the EA.com blog. It says Fight or Fright Collection event. It's going to start on October 15th. It's going to run through November 5th. I need to turn off night mode. EA is not playing nice with it. Here we go. It says from October 15th to November 5th, we will be running our next limited time event for Apex Legends Fight or Fright. This haunting event is packed with exciting content, including an all-new limited time mode featuring Kings Canyon at night, exclusive event challenges where you can earn free loot, special Halloween-inspired collection event cosmetics, and more. To tell you more about the event, we have Lee Horn, Director of Product Management for Apex Legends, to fill you in on all the spooky details. Let's skip this awkward introduction. It says, as a reminder, a collection event is just one of the 3 event types in Apex Legends. In addition to introducing a new limited time mode, we've also made some adjustments to the Fight or Fright event limited cosmetics designed to give players more choice on how they obtain these items. So here is the too long didn't read for this. There's a limited time mode called Shadowfall. Now, let me give you the quick rundown for that. It's going to be 34 players. They drop in solo. It's a solo only mode. But when you get killed, you do not get disconnected from the game. You become a zombie that you can't pick up weapons. You don't have any of your champion's abilities. Instead, you get increased movement speed. You can scale walls. You get a crazy jump speed as well, and then a brutal melee attack. And no matter how many times you die, you can constantly get dropped back into the match. So if you die, you just keep coming back as a zombie over and over and over again until the game gets to the final 10 players, who then must work together in order to reach the evacuation pod to get out. So it's a little different than the traditional battle royale of like, hey, we're going to fight down to the death until there's only one remaining. And I wonder, I'm guessing that means that when it gets down to the final 10, that friendly fire is going to be turned off. You're not going to be able to shoot other living people. So I don't know. This sounds awesome to me. We talked about this quite a bit on Friday, and so I don't want to rehash too much of what we said there. But this event seems like a massive overhaul of what they've been traditionally doing in order to make this event happen. And Larry was in the chat last week, and he said he thinks this is probably one of the biggest overhauls for a game type in a Halloween mode. Sorry, this was getting really hot on my back. And I tend to agree with him. First of all, they're giving the Halloween spooky treatment to Kings Canyon. It's going to be at night. There's going to be contaminated loot throughout the throughout the map. There's gonna, you have whole new abilities as a zombie. I think this was a pretty heavy lift for them to get off, and I think people are gonna get really excited about it. People love Halloween shit. I am among those people who like Halloween shit. If you saw our living room right now, we've got purple and yellow lights. My wife put a black tablecloth down with this skull candle holder and cobwebs and all kinds of spooky shit and skeleton rats. So we love Halloween, and I love these. I love how these games are giving Halloween its due, and I think it's been very profitable for them. I'm excited to see what Overwatch's event's going to look like when the skins come out. I think it's odd that we haven't heard anything about this, about theirs, but I don't know. I don't know if they can announce anything that's going to get me as excited as I am for this Apex Legends event, which is wild because as of a week ago, I was totally off the Apex Legends train. Totally off of it. Had no interest in playing it. Then they come out, they announce the new map for the new season. I jump in. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. They announced this mode. I'm going to play the shit out of this mode as well. Playing as a zombie seems like a lot of fun. I think you're going to have a lot of people who just kind of throw when they get in so that they can be a zombie. But I thought one of the most interesting things about Titanfall's multiplayer was this aspect of like, even if you got rolled in the game, there was a chance that you could win by getting to the evac ship at the very end, and working collectively in order to try to do that. So I like this idea of, hey, we're gonna put these 10 random people who survived to the end together to try to complete a final objective, which is to reach the evac ship. I love that. I think that's great. I think it plays right into the fact that there is a no mic required way to communicate effectively in the game. Although 10 people's pings, I think, are gonna make it a little wild. I'm interested to see how group chat works possibly within it as well, and for communication purposes. I think there's a lot of interesting things to see within this, but yeah, it looks so cool. The concept of it just seems so cool. So let's get to some of the other details outlined here. It says exclusive event challenges with free earnable cosmetics, including 2 legendary weapon skins, 24 event limited premium cosmetics that players can now unlock in one of 3 ways: direct purchase for Apex coins, direct unlock with crafting medals, and random unlock with event Apex packs. Additionally, the event currency in these packs has been replaced with non-event loot drops, yielding more loot overall. So let's see here. I haven't scrolled down all through here to look at all the different items. Oh, a scarecrow gun? That looks fucking cool. So you can earn free exclusive skins, badges, and music packs. Kill one shadow in Shadowfall. So a bunch of different, challenges, static challenges that they're laying out here in order to get different things. These skins look cool. What is this one? I don't know. That one's okay. It doesn't seem too spooky. So here's your premium cosmetics. You can directly purchase them with 1,800 Apex coins. For the legendaries and epics are only 1,000 Apex coins. So that's $18 and $10. So no different with the pricing there. Legendaries are 2,400 crafting medals, while epics are 800 crafting medals. And then event Apex packs, again, no difference in price there, 700 Apex coins. Outlining your probabilities here within the packs. So you're guaranteed one event item, 50% chance it's an event epic, 50% chance it's an event legendary. Oh, dude, that's fucking awesome. Is that a caustic clown skin? A crypto vampire skin? A Gibraltar. Oh, this was the one that leaked. The Gibraltar Frankenstein skin. So are those the only 3 skins that are available? I do think it's cool that they've added in being able to use your crafting materials. If I'm not mistaken, that's the stuff that you just accrue for free as you're playing. I think I have quite a bit of that just from the time I've played because I don't ever spend it on shit. So that's cool to see. I'm still not in love with the pricing for the individual purchases. I still don't think it's advantageous to purchase it this way. I understand this is about their bottom line, but you will never see me spending $18 on a legendary skin, and you will never see me spending $7 for the chance of getting one. That's and that may just be me. I may be in the minority there, but well, I know I'm not, because they already said, like, hey, we got a bunch of freeloaders that play this game. There's a bunch of you that won't spend a dime, but you're not encouraging me to spend any money when you're like $18. From a content perspective, however, because I've said what I want to say about Apex Legends microtransactions. From a content perspective, though, this event is cool. And they need to keep up the hard work, bring in the A game when it comes to building out these events. Keep making cool ass skins like the 3 that they showed in this pack here. I mean, in this blog post here. I'm excited for this. So come October 15th, which is what, next Tuesday? Yeah, next Tuesday. I will be expect me to be streaming this mode, and I imagine Larry will probably stream some as well. October 15th, Fight or Fright for Apex Legends. Next item on the list. This one's from PCGamer.com from Fraser Brown. Let me turn my night mode back on here as well. Blinding myself over here. I've got a bright ass light right here. I've got a bright ass light right there. I can't have my screen be a bright ass light as well. Anyway, this is from Fraser Brown. It says Fortnite continues to be catnip for lawyers. This time finding itself targeted by a Montreal legal firm that's requested authorization for a class action lawsuit on behalf of parents of 2 children who are allegedly addicted to the Battle Royale. Calyx Legal says it was contacted by parents who claimed that their children had become dependent on the game, which they would not have let them play had they realized there was a risk. The firm compared Fortnite to cocaine and tobacco, claiming that Epic, quote, knowingly put on the market a very, very addictive game, which is also geared towards youth, end quote. It believes the case has the same legal basis as a 2015 class action lawsuit against tobacco companies for not informing customers about the danger to their health. Earlier this year, the World Health Organization officially recognized gaming disorder as a disease, a decision that's brought up in the authorization request, which also alleges that Epic hired psychologists and, quote, really dug into the human brain and they really made the effort to make it as addictive as possible, end quote. So there's a lot to unpack here, and I think I'm going to do something I don't normally like to do, and that is kind of straddle the line here. I want to speak first and foremost very harshly to any parent who believes that this is out of the purview of things that they can take care of and handle. Kids, and it doesn't say in this article how old these children are, but kids, if given unfettered access to technology, regardless of if it is social media, if it is playing games on their phone, if it is watching Netflix, will not be able to self-regulate. And so parents are the first people who need to be responsible for setting limits on their kids. When I was a kid, I played video games all the fucking time, but I remember there came a time where my parents would come downstairs and take the controller away from me, make me go play outside, go do some chores, and I could come back to it later after I had done the things I was expected to do. I wasn't allowed to let my homework go by. So I am not sympathetic towards this idea that these kids likely just had unlimited access to Fortnite. Like, there are things you have to have in order to play this game. You have to have internet, you have to have a device to be able to play it on, and those things are very easy to limit access to in a home. Whether it be your parental locks, whether it's just turning the fucking internet off, whether it's taking a phone away. Like, there are things that you can do, and in order for it to get as bad as they're saying it got, that they are so dependent on it that it's like cocaine or tobacco, there was a lapse in judgment as a parent that took place there. And I know I'm speaking on this as somebody who is not a parent, but I don't think it takes a genius to say, if you don't want your kid to be addicted to some form of technology, limit their fucking access to the technology. However, I think the scope of the argument gets a little out of bounds when it starts talking about cocaine, and I think that this pretty much sums up my official view.
I love their breadsticks.
Oh, their breadsticks are like crack.
I love when people say like crack, who've obviously never done crack.
The breadsticks are like what then? Ryan, what can I use?
I don't know, something from your world. The breadsticks are like scrapbooking.
You're right. No, I'm a middle class fraud.
Shh, okay.
There we go. That's what it is. Fortnite is like scrapbooking, guys. It's like scrapbooking. However, I do think this, and this is something that we rail on a lot when we're talking about these on PvA radio, especially, is that I do think that there is a disconnect between what parents understand about games and the way that these games are being designed. I mean, log into any mobile game. I've been playing Call of Duty Mobile on my phone. And I'm not normally a mobile game guy, and it's because I get just sick of being constant. Like, I was talking to Larry about it today. I was like, you should download it and play it. He was like, is it typical mobile gaming stuff? I was like, yeah. I mean, half the tutorial is spent teaching you how to. Half the tutorials teaching you how to spend money with the game, but from a gameplay perspective, it's fun. But you log in, and that's truly the case. Like, they're teaching you how to spend money. It is so quick and easy to jump in and out of. That was the same thing that happened to me with Gears Pop. I had to delete Gears Pop off my phone because it was just too easy to jump in and out of. Games only took like 2 or 3 minutes. Call of Duty, it only takes about 5 or 6 minutes. And I don't think that parents understand the second part of this statement, not the cocaine and crack thing, but the whole, like, these games are being designed to prod at a certain place in your psyche in order to make these games as profitable as possible. And I think within that, game makers do have a responsibility to communicate the risks. And I know that cuts the legs directly out from their bottom line. But Fortnite needs to do a better job in-game of giving parents the ability to limit access to the game on an account. And there are going to be kids who know how to circumvent those things always, but having those options there, I think, is would safeguard Fortnite against these. Not that I think that Fortnite needs my advice to save them. Mad Brock says, I get my scrapbooking on every day. That's right. Right before a big work meeting, man, just got to get that scrapbooking in, get hype. Get hype, baby. I love when people say something's like crack when they've clearly never done crack. Oh, man. I love when people compare Fortnite to cocaine when they have clearly never done cocaine. Not that I've ever done cocaine. Roy Speedrun says, I have a much bigger problem with the shit Breakpoint is pulling than I do Fortnite's model. I mean, isn't it kind of obvious that games would be designed to be addictive? Now, I have issues with what Breakpoint is doing in a different regard. I think that one of the things that Fortnite does and that mobile games do such a good job of is incentivizing you to constantly be engaged with the game in one way, shape, or form, to the point where you feel like you're falling behind in some sort of artificial way if you don't play the game. And look, I've got a, how old am I? I'm 29. So my nephew is 9. He's 20 years younger than me. I've got a 9-year-old nephew who loves Fortnite. And when he comes to my house, he knows, like, yeah, dude, you can get on the Switch and play. You can get on my PC and play. But I'm not his dad, His dad, on the other hand, is like, look, you can only play X amount of time. If I see you're getting to be a certain way with it or demanding to play it constantly, I'm going to take it away from you. And he has other healthy hobbies. He likes to draw. He likes to be creative in other ways. Oh shit, my Chrome just crashed, dude. Okay, I'll get back to my tangent here in a second. Let me finish this point. I think the point is, though, that Fortnite is designed in such a way not just to be fun, but to artificially create engagement with its players in a way that I don't think parents are necessarily aware of. Now, I think it is within the responsibility of a parent to understand those things. And Larry is really good about this, really good about talking about this. So Larry's a youth minister, and he hosts a class every, I don't know if he does every 6 months, every year, how often he does it. But he basically just explains to parents, like, what things are. Like, hey, your kid is probably really into Snapchat. Let me just explain what that is. And here are some of the risks in this, but here are some of the benefits in it and good things that can come from it. Let me inform you about Instagram. Here are the new things that are coming out with Facebook and with different kinds of messengers. And and Larry's a parent of 2 kids as well, and he is very good about like just setting up these boundaries to say, before my kid can interact with these things, I want to first understand what those things are. And I think that is within the scope of the responsibilities of a parent. Roy Speedrun says, I mean, I played Clash of Clans for like 3 years. I could have paid to get ahead, but I had no problem grinding. At some point, we can't be holding the consumer's hands. It's the parents' jobs, not Epic's. I totally agree with that. And that's how I kick the whole thing off. I think it is within the responsibility of the parent to set these limits. But I do think that Epic could avoid a lot of the backlash that they seem to be receiving. What? Roy Speedrun with the 5 months. Kaffa, baby. Thank you so much, my dude, my homie. If you have not already, go check out Roy Speedrun. He got back to streaming this weekend playing some Apex Legends. I won't lie to you, Roy Speedrun. Was I sitting in the bath while I was watching you pwn some noobs in Apex? Yeah, I was. Sue me. But yes, I do think that Epic could avoid a lot of this if they communicated a little more clearly as to some of these risks, especially if gaming disorder is going to continue to be something that is used in these cases. I mean, I think that is, I'm no lawyer, right? I'm just a small town marketing manager, no lawyer. But I do think that if there is a legitimate recognized disease that is attached to these things, there will become regulations, and it comes back to the just a small town scrapbooker, as Mad Brock says in the chat. It's the same thing we've been saying about just loot box in general. It's like somebody is going to regulate this shit. It can either be you, or it can be somebody who you definitely don't want meddling in this shit. And so if Fortnite really wants to get ahead of this, because this has been the dominant conversation about this game for the last year and a half at the very least. And so I think it is within Fortnite's best interest to keep the pressure off of them to just say, hey, look, we are adding in parental controls for parents to, on an account basis, be able to limit their kids' time with this game. Hey, we've released a companion app where you can, control your kid's account from that device and limit their access. Like, I think it would be in Fortnite's best interest just to be able to come to these and say, look, we are taking the necessary steps to try to avoid these things. But yes, I agree with you, Roy Speedrun. It's on the parents. Roy Speedrun says, but I think it's silly to say this is a Fortnite issue when all games are designed to be addictive. I mean, a game that doesn't keep you playing isn't designed well, right? And that's totally true. But there's an argument to be made about a lot of games in that they have an end. Whereas Fortnite and a lot of other games similar to Fortnite are just never-ending grinds. You mentioned Clash of Clans, which I'm sure is the same way, never-ending grind. It is Fortnite's issue because they have the main stage, and I think when you have the main stage in an industry like this, you set the pace. And you don't see these articles being written about Apex Legends. You don't see them being written about Call of Duty. You don't see them being written about Clash of Clans. You can play Fortnite on everything now. So it's dominated the conversation for console, for PC, for mobile, for iPad. Literally anything that you can play on, it's Fortnite. And so I think it is Fortnite's issue, just in the sense that their popularity has put them at center stage for it to set the pace. But again, I don't think, legally speaking, I mean, it is the parent's responsibility. Like, if a kid got addicted to cocaine or scrapbooking, we wouldn't be going to we obviously we would try to find the drug dealer, or we'd go try to shut down Joanne Fabrics. But at the end of the day, we would go to the parent and be like, well, how the fuck did your kid get cocaine? Especially at the age we're likely talking about with Fortnite. 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. Like, just take the goddamn power cord, man. It's not hard. Roy Speedrun says, fair enough. I mean, I don't really care about Fortnite in 2019, but I don't think they deserve to get crucified either. Epic is so smart with what they made. And I'm not suggesting being crucified. I just think that somebody is going to step in to regulate this shit. And it's either going to be you self-regulating yourself. It's either going to be you self-regulating or somebody you want absolutely nowhere near your product meddling in it with regulation. It's the same thing we saw with the ESA being like, well, we're going to start requiring publishers within, or the ESA bringing publishers together and the publishers making a pledge that like, we're going to start publishing our drop rates for different kinds of items. Because the ESA knew, like, if we don't start doing shit about this, a government's going to get involved and we're going to start having to answer to people we don't want to answer to. And so if Fortnite's starting to feel the heat on these things, and there seems to be some viability to these arguments, which who knows anymore, I just think it's within their best interest to try to get out ahead of it and be proactive. Good discussion. Roy Speedrun says, yeah, I see that happening soon, to be honest. Between this and violent games being the problem, I kind of worry about what we will see in gaming. Here's the great thing about the violent games discussion is the conversation's come and gone. I mean, the Supreme Court has already weighed in and said that video game design is free speech, is protected speech. The loot boxes and the addictiveness of games, I think, are going to be something that is coming down the pipeline. Yeah, I can't even remember, Roy Speedrun, when the Supreme Court weighing in on video games was. It was a long time ago, I think. I think it was like back when the original Doom was out. Let's see. Supreme Court violent video games. It was Brown versus Entertainment Merchants Association. Oh, this was not that long ago. This was in 2011. Is a landmark case by the Supreme Court of the United States that struck down a 2005 California law banning the sale of certain violent video games to children without parental supervision. In a 7-2 decision, the court upheld the lower court's decision and nullified the law, ruling that video games were protected speech under the First Amendment as other forms of media. So I'm not worried on that front, but I do think that companies are starting to feel the heat when it comes to loot boxes and when it comes to addictiveness in games. I think, especially as we get the World Health Organization kind of being cavalier, I think, with their inclusion of video game addiction in, I can't remember what their book is called, but I thought it was a little rash and cavalier for them to do that. And I think we talked about that when that story broke, but as long as that exists, I think people are going to try to find legs to stand on to, like you said earlier, Roy Speedrun, point the finger. We've gotten super good at that. Next item on the list. This is from WCCF Tech. The Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch retail packaging looks awesome. So they posted this picture. And if you guys don't remember when The Witcher 3 originally came out, jam-packed with stuff in it. There was like a thank you letter, looks to be some stickers, a manual in here, a map. So much stuff that it has to come in a full-on box. And this is just the standard edition, which I think you can buy right now for $50. You can pre-order it now for $50, this physical edition. I miss this stuff so much. I'd buy physical games if it wasn't just like me purchasing a game, opening up the box, and seeing the back of the cover that's in the front of it. I love... My wife gets mad at me. I'm not much of a pack rat. I don't keep a whole lot of stuff. But for some reason, I love keeping boxes where that like my electronics have come in. So like I've got my old Vita box back here. Yeah, there's no disc in it. It's just a download code, I think. But yeah, so I've got my Vita box back here. This actually, the Metal Gear Solid thing actually has a game. I mean, it has the system in it. That's unopened. But I've got my Xbox One Xbox, my PS4 box, PlayStation VR, like all that shit. I keep it because I love it. I love when companies take special care in how they present their products. That shelf appeal, right? And I know when this game originally came out and there was all this shit inside of it, everybody was like, man, is this the start of something new? I think it's wholly unique to CD Projekt Red. I'm excited to see what comes with Cyberpunk 2077. But yeah, I think this is really just a CD Projekt Red kind of thing. I don't think we're going to see this become commonplace by any stretch of the imagination. But bring it back, man. Roy Speedrun says, I do kind of miss the physical game, but when games stop doing cool shit like this, it gave me no incentive. Exactly. There's no incentive for me to buy physical merchandise except for, number one, I buy it on Switch because of the ability to trade it in, which you can't do that on this because I think it is really just a download code, right? That comes with it. So, but The Witcher on Switch, going to be dope. I'm definitely going to pick it up. The Witcher was like a summer game for me for 3 years. I don't know. I thought that there may be. I thought I may have seen something about there not being a cartridge for it. Let me see. Witcher 3 Switch cartridge. Oh, it is squeezed onto a single cartridge. I was misinformed. Nintendo Life confirms it is going to be on a single cartridge. That's crazy. Oh, and here's a breakdown of it. They actually give a picture of what all's in it. So the Witcher Universe Compendium, yeah, it comes with this cool ass disc that probably tastes terrible. Anybody licked a Nintendo Switch cartridge? Comes with stickers, comes with the map. So, my apologies, guys. My apologies. I got it wrong. Moving on. Roy Speedrun, what size SD card do you use for your Switch? I lucked out. When my wife upgraded her phone, they gave her the option of like a VR headset or a 128 gigabyte micro SD. She took the SD, never used it, and when we bought the Switch, I was like, "Can I use that?" She's like, "Yeah." It's like, sweet. So I didn't even have to buy one. We already had it. 64, yeah. I can see that filling up pretty quick. I just play Arena of Valor on my Switch anyway, guys. Next item on the list, PlayStation System Update 7.0 will be released later this week. We're taking this straight from the PlayStation blog. Sid Schumann wrote this up, the senior director of SIE Content Communications. He says, our latest software update for PlayStation 4 version 7.0 is launching this week worldwide. This update includes new functionality to key system features, including party and remote play features. We revealed a number of features included in the newly enhanced party prior to its beta earlier this summer, and here are all the details that PS4 players can look forward to experiencing. So here's your party updates. Maximum number of party users increased from 8 to 16. So you and your two friends can just wonder when you're going to be able to get those other 13 slots filled up. Network connectivity improvements, audio quality improvements, and accessibility support with chat transcription has been added in the US as well. So just kind of an overhaul to the party system. The party system has always been a little lacking for me on PlayStation, I think for a multitude of reasons that aren't necessarily completely addressed by this. But I've always, the audio quality has always been a little poor, and it always takes like a million years to connect to a party, especially if there's, 5 or 6 people that were in it. So it's cool to see that they're making changes there. Then the next big thing is remote play. For those who want to stream select PS4 games on mobile devices, remote play can now be used on smartphones and tablets running Android 5.0 or higher. Just download the PS4 Remote Play app from the Google Play Store to use the feature. Meanwhile, for iPhone or iPad users, the Remote Play app has been updated so you can now display the controller at all times and lock the screen orientation. Also, players will be able to use their DualShock 4 wireless controllers via Bluetooth for remote play on Android, iPhone, iPad, and Mac. All you need to do is update to Android 10, iOS 13, iPad OS 13, and Mac OS Catalina, releasing in October to use this feature. I think Catalina is coming, if not already out. I don't know. Somebody at work was talking about it being out. We're a Mac office, so my Mac is doing something weird. I have no idea what it is. And I'm going to put a marker here because we're done with that topic. There's just not a lot to talk about there. Just wanted to go over this. I opened up my Mac today because I always have it going as with my Lurk account. Right now I'm just using my iPad. But I opened up my Mac today, and it was like 8:50, and the clock said 7:15. And I tried to connect to the internet. It was like, security alert, your system clock is not right. And I tried like all the troubleshooting shit, and nothing worked. So I have no idea what's going on with my computer, but I was not very pleased to see that. I've got my work laptop, which is perfectly fine, but I try not to use my work laptop for anything other than work. So Roy Speedrun hacked it, bro. Damn, dude. Putting those Trojans on there. The keystroke keystroke loggers logging into all my shit. I also realized, so I went through like a few month period where a bunch of my shit was getting hacked. And I realized that I was a part of that Yahoo thing. And I'm one of those dumbasses that uses the same password on everything. Mad Brock says you pay the Apple overlords there too. That's right. My computer is now, how long ago has it been since I left my job at the church? Like 4 years? 5 years? 4 years? Yeah. The shelf life on my computer's up, man. Apple's ready for me to pay again. It's heard me talking about possibly upgrading to a Google phone. That's what it is. I was talking to Lauren on the way home from that wedding on Saturday. I was like, yeah, I think I may try a Google phone. She's like, really? I was like, yeah. And Apple struck my computer with the plague. Oh, so we're driving home on Saturday night. And, you know, it was like a 2-hour drive to this wedding. Roy Speedrun says Google makes the best phone, hands down. The Pixel is fucking amazing. And I know that on the 15th they're revealing the Pixel 4. So I'm gonna see what they reveal of it. I'm gonna listen to some reviews, and then by the time I'm due for an upgrade, I think I'll be ready to make a decision. And then I think I may just move on to a PC for my laptop too. I love my iPhone. I've had an iPhone since the iPhone 5. So, or maybe the 4. It's been a long time since I was in college. So we're driving home from this wedding. And, you know, it's like a 2-hour drive. We got a couple other stories to get to here in just a second. But it's like a 2-hour drive. And I was like, Lauren, if you could have dinner with 3 celebrities, who would you pick? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It took both of us a long fucking time to answer it, and I'm still not super satisfied with my answer. I realized on Saturday, I just don't care about celebrities. I really don't. Like, there are very few famous people that I'm like, man, I would really want to take an hour and a half out of my day to have lunch with that person. Like, and so I think Lauren's answer, Lauren actually had some like famous people in her answer. So she said Stephen Colbert, Link, and Kristen Bell. So those are her 3. So those are like, and did I mention it was Link from Rhett and Link? So those are, I would say, 2 really famous people and 1 famous person. And I was like, I think I would want to have dinner with Bill Simmons, who was like, you know, the Ringer guy. People called him the sports guy. He was a columnist at ESPN for years, did the BS report. He's got his own thing now. Yeah, dude, my wife loves GMM. Loves GMM. We both do. We used to watch Good Mythical Morning and Good Mythical More every day after work. We've kind of fallen out of that habit, but yeah. Well, they're from Bowie's Creek, and she worked in Sanford, North Carolina, which is like 30 minutes away. So she feels a special connection to them. They're North Carolina boys. She's from North Carolina. So Roy Speedrun says, I'd go with Philip K. Dick or Joe Rogan. So there's 2, Philip K. Dick and Joe Rogan. Who would your 3rd be, though? Because, let's see. I picked... so, yeah, I went with Bill Simmons as my first. My second would probably be... This person's not famous at all. It would be Jane, who is an assistant coach for the Dallas Fuel. My wife calls him the floating head guy because he streams Overwatch and he just has like his head floating or behind his desk. At least he used to. So Jane would be my second, and then like I could not come up with a third. I was like, like Lane Pavogi. I don't know. Lane's not famous. I've had an hour and a half conversation with Lane, but I just don't know. Roy Speedrun says doing that show is like my dream job. Just goof off for a living. I'd love to do something like that, dude. I enjoyed a lot of the aspects of my job at the church, but one of my favorite things was me, Larry, and the youth minister at my church, a good friend of mine named Ben. We had to make all these like dumbass videos all the time for camp and stuff, and there was a couple days out of the year where we would just like ideate these stupid videos and then go shoot them. So yeah, third's tough, man. I had a revelation that I just don't care about famous people enough. Like, I've never been interested in meeting famous people. I don't know what I would say. I'm one of those people, like, I'm contrarian. So I don't want to say something to you that everybody has said. And I think for that, it would be really hard for me to be interesting and to feel good about an interaction I had with a celebrity. I said my third might be Donald Glover. Like, Donald Glover seems real down to earth, pretty chill to hang out with, real funny. So, Roy Speedrun says it would be some comedian or musician probably. Like, it used to be Jesse Lacey for me until he turned out to just be a total fucking creep. So, that went out of the way. Dan Harmon, there you go. That's a good one. All right, let's move on. Next item on the list. Just wanted to regale you guys with that story. It's Monday. Feeling loose. The Nintendo Switch is getting an officially licensed Mario Kart racing wheel. This is from Ryan Craddock over at Nintendo Life. It says, gaming accessory maker Hori is set to release a Mario Kart racing wheel for Nintendo Switch. It has been revealed. 2 different versions of the wheel will be available, one being described as a standard model and the other being a more expensive deluxe model. The accessory will reportedly be compatible with both Nintendo Switch and PC, with functions from Switch's Joy-Cons and Pro Controller being available as standard. It also comes with a foot pedal, as you can see in the images below. So here's like the basic version of it. And this, well, why wouldn't you have it ordered the way it's laid out here? Come on, Nintendo Life. This looks like it would fall apart. To be honest with you, I feel like I would tear this up. So you've got this one. It looks like this one has paddles on the back here. Is the drift a feature or a bug? So this one is like the beefy boy. You can set up custom dead zones in this one. I think this may have some force feedback. Did I see that earlier? Dead zone adjustment and reality adjustment options to alter the wheel's turning radius. It also works in docked mode, although an extra USB accessory will reportedly enable the wheel to be used with Switch Lite. And the deluxe edition comes with some welcome extras like suction cups, so you can attach it to your desk. I've got a racing wheel that I played like Forza Horizon 3 with. I like the idea of a racing wheel until you get to a racing wheel, like get to using a racing wheel and you're like, I drive a car all the time. And this doesn't feel like driving a car. Oh, is the drift a bug or a feature on the Switch Lite? In Mario Kart, it can be used to your advantage. Everywhere else, you're going to have to send it in 3 months to get it replaced with another Switch Lite. So pre-orders are up, or at least in Play Asia, this retails for $137. Amazon, let's see, $60 fake dollars for that. So I like racing wheels in concept. And I think it also comes down to just buying a nice one too, with like force feedback, which neither of these have, it doesn't seem, but with like force feedback, weighted pedals, all that kind of stuff. Roy Speedrun says, I just want a new Burnout game. Dude, I miss the old Need for Speeds. And I know that they've tried to capture some of the Need for Speed stuff. I really enjoy, if you haven't played the Forza Horizon games, I would totally recommend them. They are a blast. They are a lot of fun. A lot of different cars. Really great worlds that are built. The races are pretty fun. But just the open world driving in those games are fantastic. Fantastic. Highly recommend. So yeah, they updated this to say, great news, folks. The Mario Kart racing wheel has now been spotted in the West with a pre-order option appearing on Amazon UK. And again, set for $60 fake. So, and an estimated release date of the 3rd of January 2020, which is January 3rd, 2020 for all of us normals. So, oh yeah, but all of those are on Game Pass, dude. Definitely try it. Definitely try it. Moving on. This is actually the last item on the list. The Rainbow Six Siege dev team has considered adding a canine unit to the game, but they have one key hang up here. This is from James O'Connor at VG247. It says, will a canine unit ever come to Rainbow Six Siege? There's been talks, but there's a major hurdle to overcome. Wired has posted a video with Ubisoft Montreal's Alexander Carpazis in which he answers questions from fans about the game. It's a fun video and has some useful information, but there's one, to our mind, really important piece of information in here, whether or not the team has considered adding a canine unit with an attack dog. Carpazis addresses a few other questions too. There are currently no plans to introduce dual pistols, for instance, because they'd be very difficult to implement properly. And the Area 51 map was canceled, apparently. The canine question is the last one in the video, coming in at 9:25, and here's his answer. Quote, this is something we've talked about for a while, but to answer your question, I have to ask you a question. Are you okay with shooting a dog? End quote. It goes on to talk about Call of Duty, and I don't know if you guys remember Call of Duty World at War. One of the kill streak rewards was attack dogs, and you could shoot the attack dogs. And Call of Duty is not the only example of games where you can shoot dogs. You can shoot the dogs, I believe, in the Division, the original Division, maybe Division 2 also. And those weren't even like attacking you. Roy Speedrun says, this can't be real. I'm trying to play a game, dude. I don't want to shoot a fucking dog. Wolfenstein with the Robo Pups. That was the suggestion from VG247 is robot dogs. I don't know, man. I love my dog. I've got a, I think she's 8, almost 9-year-old Australian Shepherd who is a lazy and fat and lovable and the sweetest dog in the world. She was never able to sleep on the bed. Before, because it's my wife's dog, she had her before we got married, was never able to sleep on the bed. When we got married, I was like, this dog is sleeping on the bed, so she sleeps at my feet every night. I love my dog to death. I don't get what I don't understand is, like, you spend the whole entire fucking game shooting people. You shoot people the whole game. And so it's some unforgivable sin that I'm now going to shoot a virtual dog in this game. I don't get it. I don't get it. Roy Speedrun says, yeah, but people suck. I understand that. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh man, I love dogs more than I love people. Like, I love my dog, but there's a lot of people I'd choose over my dog if put in a impossible situation, you know? So I don't get the argument. Like, I think it would add something cool. I wonder how easy something like that would be to balance. I don't know how much Notorious Narwhal says nah. Notorious Narwhal is he is a zoologist, so he clearly values all animals over people. So, and he's a narwhal, so there's that too. But, like, how much automated stuff does Rainbow Six Siege have? So I don't think it's a ton. So it would be a matter of, like, Roy Speedrun says, I mean, I don't like going to the zoo anymore. It just bums me out. You got to go to the right zoos, Roy Speedrun. There's a lot of zoos that exist for there's a lot of zoos that exist for conservation purposes. You know, mixed habitats, you can ask Notorious Narwhal. He is legit a zoologist. He's married to my sister, who is a zoologist as well. So they worked at a bird sanctuary for years, and now they work at a another zoo. So, but yeah, there are some that are shitty, and then there are others that are designed for conservation purposes and stuff. There's sirens going on over on my end, so if you're listening to this and wondering, Mangle92 says, wasn't there a song about narwhals? There definitely was. Roy Speedrun says, I feel like a sanctuary or preserve is different from a zoo. Well, there are zoos that exist as sanctuaries and preserves as well. Kind of dual function. And a lot more zoos are adopting a conservation model rather than a, hey, come look at our gorillas in tiny ass cages. There's a couple narwhal songs. Oh, Notorious Narwhal says not really. If anything, they are worse. Interesting. I concede to Notorious Narwhal on any of these. He's been doing this for 5-6 years, 7 years maybe. I have no idea. I've been out of school for 7 years, so he's been out of school for 6. Mangle92 says, who wants to know a fucked up history fact? I'm going to go ahead and set the marker for the end of the Rainbow Six Siege topic here. Sure, give us a fucked up history fact. I'm all for it. Oh, so Notorious Narwhal says they don't have near the protocol that any AZA facility has. That's interesting. So there's like levels of regulations in order to be like a certified zoo. I know nothing. So my sister does it for a living and I don't know shit about it. Little bonus story for you guys. Hold on, let me see this. Oh, Mango, that is fucked up. I don't particularly want to read that out, if I'm being honest. But yes, that is fucked up. Roy Speedrun says, it's not even that I feel like the animals are being mistreated. I just don't get any joy out of looking at an animal in a cage. I'm sure they're well cared for. Now, I do know that, and again, Notorious Narwhal can correct me if I'm wrong here. I do know that like a big thing in zoos now are about like trying to create habitats that have like similar species as they would interact with in the wild, so it's more like a natural ecosystem for them to socialize within. So it's not just like, oh, all of our baboons are over here, oh, all of our meerkats are over here. It's like, oh, let's put these things together as if they were still over there. And so like it promotes better mental health and probably just regular health as well, like physical health. So I don't know. Now, I've been to some shitty zoos in the past too, Roy Speedrun, so I totally get where you're coming from with that. Notorious Narwhal says, yeah, they've been trying to do that for a long time. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen more shitty zoos than I have, Notorious Narwhal. I'm sure you have. I know we went on a trip to, I don't even want to say where it was because I'm not positive if this was it, but it was a zoo in Virginia, I'm pretty sure, and it was the saddest place I'd ever been. Like the animals just looked awful. It was so sad. But I've been to the Dallas Zoo, which is awesome, which is really cool. And yeah, man, zoos don't have to be your thing. You know what? I'm not a big fan of aquariums because they're all like, come touch our stingrays. I'm like, I don't want to touch your fucking stingrays. But you got to. It's a pit. What else can you pet in there? Like turtles and shit? Electric eels? Anyway. I'm free to. I'm cool to stick around, hang out with you guys a little bit more. I do want to end it for our YouTube audience here. This has been the PvA Nightly Rundown. We do this every single weeknight over on twitch.tv/PvA Radio at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're watching over here on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button. If you're not already, subscribe. You get that cool cafe emote and the sweet sub badge that you see next to Roy Speedrun's name in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like. If you have any comments, feel free to leave those down there below as well. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.